Welcome back, everyone, to another Eats Beat Live, the most delicious live stream in the Metroplex. I'm Bud Kennedy.
And Steve Wilson.
Well, we've talked a lot about restaurants in Sundance Square. We've talked about restaurants on the South Side. Paco Islas is our guest today. He has one of each. He has Paco's Mexican food on West Magnolia and on West 4th on Sundance Square Plaza downtown. Welcome, Paco.
Thank you, gentlemen. Pleasure to be on here.
We want you to talk all about Paco's. I know that Paco's started out 17 years ago now. Originally, there was Paco and John's in a little place on 8th Avenue, and then you and your dad, Francisco, have continued the restaurant from 8th to Magnolia, and then a couple of years ago added the location on Sundance Square Plaza. And it's continued to evolve. Some of the dishes you serve are traditional and they're still beautiful and classic, and they're just like they were in the original Paco and John's. And then some of them are new and interesting and really appeal to a younger audience. And you have a lot of margaritas now that you never had before on 8th Avenue. So Paco, tell us about kind of the evolution of Paco's.
Sure. We did start in 2007. It was my father, Francisco Islas, and Bernard Tranche. They opened up a restaurant. They named it after both their sons, Paco and John. It was off of 8th Avenue. And from there, they kept it going up until 2014. And 2014, it just kind of got a little to where that little corner there, I mean, you brought on Chipotle and Subway and Starbucks, so it just kind of got a little unfeasible to continue in that corner. 2016, me and my dad reopened it as just Paco's in the near south side of Magnolia. Small 12 table little hole in the wall restaurants. We did continue some of the recipes over, especially a lot of like the breakfast and lunch, being in the hospital district. And in 2019, we made an expansion. We built a bar to go with it. We more than doubled the square footage of our tables. Now we have 50 tables in there and an additional 20 tables outside in the patio at Magnolia. Since then, yes, we've grown and we've been able to get a food truck, get our catering going. We came over to Sundance Square 2 years ago, actually. So it's been 2 years as of July, and we've been really. It's been a blessing to be here in Sundance Square and just right in the center of everything as well down here. But I mean, it's been quite a journey for sure.
What are the most successful when people say, what's Paco's good at? What does Paco's do differently from all the other Tex-Mex or interior Mexico foods around? What are Paco's most popular dishes, and what are you really good at?
As far as what Paco's is known for, I mean, we have kind of a street style food. So, I mean, you have what you would expect in a Mexican restaurant, which is, your tacos, your burritos, your enchiladas, tortas, things like that. The things that are kind of on our specialties that, you probably can't find anywhere else is going to be our tlacoyos, right? And tlacoyos are kind of a homemade tortilla, kind of like a dumpling. We take that same masa, we fill it with black beans on the inside, and we toss in a green tomatillo sauce, topped off with your choice of protein, and then cilantro, onion, crema, little avocado to go with it. So it's a little citrusy, a little spicy, but very good. We definitely, one of our hottest items is the birria tacos. I'd probably say ever since 2019, 2020, the pandemic time, I mean, birria tacos made a big, huge wave here in Fort Worth. It's really just kind of what everybody wanted to talk about, crunchy, crispy, cheesy tortilla that you just kind of dip inside of the consommé, kind of like an au jus with goat meat on the inside. And, that's been extremely popular. And then for kind of our meat lovers, we have our molcajete, big skillet with chicken, beef, chorizo, shrimp, cebolla cambray. So essentially just a big platter of just a bunch of different meats, and those have been kind of the favorites or we've been kind of known for here at Paco's.
And what drinks are you, now that you have the bar at both locations, what are the most popular drinks and what are the specialty drinks?
Well, of course, our margaritas. I mean, that's what people come here for, whether they be frozen or on the rocks for the margaritas. But we kind of pride ourselves in our tequila program. for tequila, I mean, it's made as well kind of a big wave. You have great ones that have come out. I mean, you see La Pulga Tequila that just came here in Fort Worth. So, we've been able to kind of educate and sell people on different types of tequilas. We have a lot of flights as well with different types of tequila, so they can try the difference between the Blanco, the Reposado, the Anejo, Cristalino now, Extra Añejo, and just different types of tequilas to go with it.
Steve, did that Mocajete sound good? What have you heard so far that you like?
Well, I was thinking the big skillet sounded with all the assorted meats in it sounded pretty good. We actually Paco sent some photos. I mean, we
We're
have
gonna have a show and tell.
yeah, like looks
So
like
that one's
mole.
going to be
What's in the mole?
red mole, very traditional with white rice and a little bit of chicken legs to go with it.
Is this chicken? Oh, go ahead with this.
So that one's our carne asada on top of basically some enchiladas and a green tomatillo sauce, so citrusy and spicy, but with that nice flank steak on top.
So it's carne asada on top of enchiladas. Good.
Yes, sir. That's gonna be our flautas platter. So chicken or brisket flautas, and I mean, very traditional Mexican dish as well.
This is all very beautifully presented, Paco, and you all have made it a point to have the kind of distinctive presentation. I think one of the first things people notice at Paco's is that it's not all like brown and yellow glop on a plate. The food is very artfully presented, and it's not overly sauced. Although the mole obviously was brown, but it's not just overly covered in cheddar or anything. You really have different flavors and different tastes. I think there was a little bit of a Yucatecano influence. Was there a Yucatan influence from the beginning, or am I not thinking right about that?
We our family's originally from Pachuca Hidalgo, right? So most of our influence, most of our ingredients, most of our recipes come from family recipes, and just some things that we've just kind of recreated and done something different, right? And so and then that's a beautiful thing about Mexican food. At the end of the day, if you go and get a pastor taco at a place where we're from, Pachuca Hidalgo, from a place from Mexico City, a place like Yucatan, you're going to get it different ways. Every single region in Mexico has a different way of making certain stuff, right? We have a dish on our menu called the Veracruz trout, right? And that is, of course, a very traditional dish from Veracruz that we put on the menu because we love it. We even at lunch we bring in the Cuban press. Not necessarily what you would say Mexican, but we have our twist to our Cuban press and kind of how we make it. But yeah, we definitely take some from all sorts of different places. Our birria tacos. I mean, birria traditionally comes from Jalisco, right? And just kind of grab some from a bunch of different regions and just kind of play with it. And it's a fun thing about being in this culinary world that we're in.
And you use goat for the birria. I know people are using all kinds of things now for birria.
So we have the option between beef and goat. Now, we did start off by using goat. For some people, they felt it was a little too gamey. So we said, okay, well, we can do birria two different ways. We can do the goat and have the traditional method, and then we can also have the beef for the people that just kind of are more comfortable with the beef.
We're talking with Paco Islas. What, Steve?
It's Fort Worth. We're kind of like in the beef, although like I said, goat is more traditional for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're talking with Paco Islas from Paco's, and there are two Paco's locations in Fort Worth: 1508 West Magnolia, near Baylor All Saints Hospital, on the west end of Magnolia, or 156 West 4th Street, which is on Sundance Square Plaza. Paco, you've seen a lot of restaurants around you close at both locations. What's going on with all the closings, and how have you been able to hang in there and do so well?
Well, to be honest with you, yeah, I mean it's been a rough year for restaurants, and yes, we've talked to a lot of different leaders in the restaurant industry as of late, kind of try to keep up with what's going on, what are the trends. But I mean, there's less people coming out. There are restaurants that have been around for a very long time that are unfortunately closing their doors. Some of them are just kind of struggling with cash flow and just kind of the day to day. So I mean, it's been rough, and for others, I mean, it's just kind of been just the numbers are down from what last year was. We saw a big uptick of people come back after the pandemic. 2022 was a great year. Everybody's it's recovering. Things are going great, but I'd probably say kind of towards the end of 2023, we started seeing just less people coming out, regulars not coming as regularly. But you also have brand new concepts, great new restaurants that are opening up that are doing good. So it's just one of those things where you just kind of have to adapt. You continuously need to change. So we've been able to hang in there. And that's been with just going out, focusing on caterings, doing daily specials. I'm not sure if y'all are aware, but since the pandemic, our Paco's location over Magnolia turns into kind of a little bit of a nightclub on Fridays and Saturdays. So from 10 to 2 in the morning, we just kind of bring in a DJ, and it's really just kind of drinks, appetizers, and just a good vibe and dancing.
Oh, Steve and I are not ever up after 10 o'clock. I mean, we're more of your morning, Huevos Divorciados crowd, I think. As a matter of fact, if we stayed out late, we'd probably be headed toward a divorciado. No, I'm kidding. But it is really nice to sit out on the sidewalk on Magnolia in the morning and have breakfast. We should tell people what hours you're open, because the hours, you've added breakfast downtown. So go over the hours on Magnolia and downtown.
Sure. So right now we're opening up both locations about 9 in the morning. So we're open for breakfast Monday through Friday, right? At both locations, we stop our dinner service at 10 o'clock. And then at Magnolia is when we continuously stay open until 2 in the morning. And at Sundance, we just call it quits at about 10 o'clock.
Now, are you open at 9 in the morning on weekends on Magnolia?
Yes. So over there, we opened up in Magnolia, and we've been open in Magnolia, very early because of the hospital district that's down there. So
right.
all of them coming in at that time, picking up their breakfast burritos, the divorciados, or chilaquiles. In downtown, we kind of had to wait a little bit just to kind of get more people into downtown, more people back into the offices, and now that we see a lot more movement. Early on, that's why we decided, let's open up a little bit earlier so that people can come down and get their fix and breakfast.
What do you see is going on right now in Mexican food? What outside of the birria, what's the next thing that people are asking for, wanting? What's changing about what people want to try?
Well, I mean, what we've seen a lot of is just kind of fusions. I mean, we live in Texas, so you have your kind of your traditional Mexican food, you have your Tex-Mex, and both are solid. I mean, at the end of the day, they both come from Latinos that are here in Texas, right? And now, I mean, you're starting to see more, kind of like I've seen like birria ramen, right? Kind of really infusing it with that Asian cuisine. We're seeing more Mexican food in barbecue, right? So now they're doing smoked meats and barbecue, and then putting a little bit of Mexican flair to it. I think Panther City Barbecue does an amazing job at doing that, right? Just kind of keeping that Latin roots, but at the same time still having, some of the best Texas barbecue in the area. So you're just seeing kind of a combination of different cultures coming together and integrating that Mexican flavor, that Mexican twist that goes into it. I mean, I've even seen some Mexican places start selling sushi now,
Steve, you were just telling me about a place before the show. You were telling me about a place, a Quick Walk or something. And what do they have? Sausage and jalapeno fried rice or something like that?
They have smoked sausage and jalapeno stir fried like pepper steak, pepper sauce and everything like that. But it's actually really good. I get that.
People are just mixing up all kinds of food, and people love it. Mainly, they love anything with hot peppers in it. So, and I tell people in Fort Worth, you can't make it too hot for people in Fort Worth. Whatever these restaurants serve in Dallas, I tell them just, crank up the peppers by another couple of notches on the dial, and people in Fort Worth will like it. Is there anything else to talk about that's going on at Paco's for the fall, for the holidays? What should people look for? What do people need to order early? Just in planning for the fall.
Sure. I mean, planning for the fall every single year. We start bringing out the tamales and the empanadas. So we'll be having that for sit down as a plate, or we'll have that by the dozen. Thanksgiving is coming, Christmas is coming, and all the get-togethers that everybody's accustomed to. Right now, we're just entering into Hispanic Heritage Month. So we have the chile en nogada as a special. It was just we just celebrated Mexican Independence Day. This past Sunday, Monday, and it's a very traditional dish as far as the poblano pepper with a little bit of a ground beef picadillo on the inside with dried fruits, and on top a goat cream sauce with walnuts, and finish it off with pomegranate, right? So, it's a very traditional dish. Come down for that. Dia de los Muertos is also right around the corner. We always do a mercado. So at our Magnolia location, we invite about 30 different just street vendors. They sell art and clothing and just artisanal items. We bring in the mariachis, and we just have a nice big get together at the end of the day. Live music, and just to kind of celebrate everything that our culture has to kind of offer in this month, right?
Steve?
Excuse me. Back to the dancing. So it's like on the weekends.
Yeah, that kind of started, and during the pandemic. Most bars. If you were just straightforward bar, they close you down. And so if you're a restaurant with a bar, 50% of food, then you're able to maintain open. So people would come down and like, hey, can we stay a little bit later? Yeah, sure, why not? What? Can we change the music? All right, let's do it. Can we turn it up a little bit? All right, let's go ahead and do that. And then, eventually, we just, everything reopened, but people still came for that kind of that late night, vibe. And so eventually we said, hey, what, let's bring in a DJ. Let's kind of change up the lighting around here, and let's just kind of see where this goes. And, now, a lot of people just go in there to drink, have fun, have a good time. And, we've just continued that at the end of the day. So it was just something a little bit more accidental, but, like I said before, in these times, you just kind of have to just adapt and change and just kind of go with it,
And you're really a block and a half from Baylor All Saints. So you're there, you're convenient for breakfast, lunch crowd, or for the South Side crowd for Fairmount, or people who want to come up and drop in.
Yes, sir.
Well, okay. Our guest is Paco Islas from Paco's Mexican Food, 1508 West Magnolia in Fort Worth, or 156 West 4th. And those are the two locations on the south side, the sunny south side of Fort Worth, or in Sundance Square Plaza. And you'll if you're asking what's going on in Sundance Square, go ask Paco, because he'll tell you all about it. So thank you very much. This has been another Eats Beat Live. Until next time, I'm Bud Kennedy.